right now, for most of our investor clients, there's very little incentive to sell anything because this is not even without this. This is without this CGT, this
Yeah.
new CGT change. This is as normal as things are
Okay.
today. Why is that? Because we were getting into these markets when they were priced 20, 30, 40, even 50% lower. If I've got clients that want to sell a property today in Perth, for example, they'll get 300, 400 grand profit, yes, but then they still want to be in the market. What do they buy next? Well, buying capital city under 800 grand is going to be close to impossible soon in major capital cities. So
Mm.
it's like, well, yeah, I can sell this asset, but then where do I put my money in next?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, if I go back to Perth, I'm buying the same location and paying the same price I paid to sell anyway. So I'm buying
Yeah.
the same property back from someone else.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
does that make
And
sense?
the real
Probably
estate.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm paying tax on that. I'm paying stamp duty to go back in. I'm losing money then. So
Yeah.
right now, even right now, there's no incentive to sell. And
Yeah.
when there's no incentive to sell, you've got all these buyers coming into the market trying to secure assets for long term. And if you even reduce incentive to sell even more, every house that an investor buys or owner occupies that buys today, that's supply that is permanently gone from the market in a market that we have a historic supply crisis.
Yeah.
So these are things I think the government really needs to think about because right now investors they're happily selling properties every 5, 6 years, in my opinion. From what I'm seeing, I think that's a very common theme. In some markets, they're selling even after a year or two. But the good thing about that, at least that there's creating that constant supply, especially in the existing market space. But having this policy come through, you're really incentivizing investors to never sell.
Yeah.
Keep leveraging equity, keep building your portfolios, but you hold these properties for as long as you possibly can because you know
Yeah.
if you do sell something, hey, I'm going to pay a lot of tax. And a lot of
Yeah.
people they can just hold it out because if you do all the numbers correctly, you can hold multiple properties. Maybe you hold this thing out if they do change this policy until they change it back again.
Yeah.
Because I don't think this will be a policy that lasts too long, in my opinion, because
Yeah.
they can't just get away with taxing everything for no apparent
Yeah.
reason every single time. So, but like that's just my opinion. But like you could have that mindset. So I think the
Yeah.
government really needs to think about again, instead of trying to address the housing crisis when in like these kind of phantom policies to not really address the main issue of supply and demand, you're not really
Yeah.
fixing anything.
Yeah.
And in a
Yeah.
lot of ways, these have very counteractive measures that make it worse.